Welcome to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse, and this may be a lengthy one because I got shit going on this week, and not to dwell on a fucking certain subject, but people that come into my life after being out of it for 20 years and then play games with me and fuck me around has gotten me to the point where right about now I gotta go see a cardiologist on Tuesday because I've been having chest pains for the last few days. Maybe something, maybe nothing, but it's got to be addressed. And I don't understand people at all lately why someone would offer me a deal. I agree to the deal, and the deal was mailed out to me, and then within 24 hours after the package lands and I start selling the stuff, all of a sudden this guy changed his mind and wants it all back. So he not only fucked me, he fucked my customers, and I sent it back, and pretty much that's the end of the relationship, friendship, whatever. Like I said, I don't understand why this is happening. This has happened like 3 times in the past couple of months. So I gotta walk past this, it's stressing me out. I gotta take Boots in for an ultrasound Wednesday, which may be the last time I take her there, I don't know. Like I said, I'm completely stressed out and it's unnecessary. But anyway, that's why I'm not going to probably do anything Wednesday. So going on with the show, let's go back to 1969 for Battle of the Commandos with Jack Palance. This was directed by Umberto Lenzi. It's of course a World War II flick, where Jack is playing a Scottish officer McIntosh who lost 28 of his commandos to this German General Ackerman and is out for revenge. Except that he has a mission to basically go behind the lines and disable things so they can do the Normandy landing. But he has no men, except for his trusty associate played by Aldo Sambrell. This thing's full of spaghetti western regulars, some you recognize, some you don't. There's Gerard Herder, who plays a German officer. There's Bruno Corazzari, a blonde actor who actually looks a bit British, who's in this. Robert Hundar from Cutthroats 9, and Kurt Jurgens is another German officer, and this was partially written by Dario Argento. So of course they go behind enemy lines, the 8 commandos do their shit, but then the people that they'd cleared the way for get gunned down in this patrol boat, and then it's a cat and mouse game to go blow up this huge tank gun, which basically is going to be a problem for the Normandy landing. So little by little, the 8 get whittled down to about 4 toward the end, and everybody dies except Jack Palance and this American pilot, or whatever he was, and Jack gets to kill Colonel Ackerman, and then the film ends. Of course, there's a lot going back and forth, and it's a lot more, for lack of better words, more cerebral than the usual Lenzi film. There's a good plot line, and the acting is good. The action is sporadic, and like I said, you recognize most of these soldiers as regulars in spaghetti westerns. So that's Battle of the Commandos. Then we go to 1970 for a film called Skullduggery, which probably most of you have never heard of. This was a Burt Reynolds adventure film shot in, looks like Papua New Guinea. And it has Roger C. Carmel as 2 adventurers and Susan Clark as an anthropologist who is trying to discover a lost tribe that would be the link between ape and man. And the reason that Bert and Roger are going is because they have found a mineral that is very valuable that is used in the creation of color TVs. So they wrangle their way in, and this expedition is financed by a millionaire. Gee, segue to something. So they actually get in there and find these creatures, the tropies, but they can't get close to them until Roger Carmel, who was actually a drunk in this movie, is sitting there eating a ham sandwich when one of them approaches him. So he hands over the ham sandwich, and it seems that these tropies really like ham. So they use that to get them into whatever, and they pretty much get along with the tropies. But Bert has this little idea about mining this whole thing, and he rewards them with cans of ham. Well, the whole plot gets twisted after that, because the guy who basically financed the whole thing wants the tropies to be raised as basically slave labor. And oh yeah, Susan Clark will get her Nobel Prize, but basically the creatures that she wants to protect will be basically bred and farmed. Well, now they're saying they're human. And what happened was the Roger C. Carmel character got drunk and banged one of them in his tent. And that's the trophy played by Pat Suzuki. So they steal a helicopter and take that trophy and Roger to a place where basically the trophy gives birth, but the baby dies. And they get a doctor in there who really can't see too good to sign a birth certificate. So now it goes to court as a murder trial with Burt Reynolds admitting he murdered the baby to keep the trophies from getting hurt. So it goes back and forth until this radical gets in there and starts spewing about this and that and the other thing and yanks the doll out of the trophy's hand. Well, that makes her go crazy and she runs out and she climbs this huge bookcase which falls over and crushes her in the courtroom. Burt is exonerated, but they say, the judge says something about, well, how do we know what's really human when we aren't acting human or something like that? So Burt sort of walks away from the whole thing, and it's sort of a confusing fucking film because I read something that basically they didn't know how to market it after they'd finished it. And the director was Gordon Douglas, who's a good director. You know, he did Rio Conchos and Barquero and action films like that. This is not an action film, however. It's sort of like almost, geez, like a political statement and sort of like is indicative of what's going on now, controlling a certain population and making them basically work for you for nothing. The film came out in 1970. I didn't have my driver's license then. It was playing with Night of the Living Dead. So it was looped into this thing where basically, I'd said this before, when they got something that they don't know what to do with, they put it with a film who actually would draw. So I conned my father to taking me and my friends to see this thing at a drive-in. And this might have been the 8th time I've seen Night of the Living Dead, because I'm pretty close to seeing it 100 times theatrically, if that's crazy enough. So, you know, we went up there, we saw it, and basically the damn film just disappeared. It really didn't come back anywhere, and it was one of those films that lost money because they didn't know how to market it. So it's now out on Kino Lorber if you want to check it out. I had to get it and take a second look because I had very little memory of it before. Like I said, it starts out as an adventure, becomes a political statement toward the end. It might bore you, it might not, but if you're a Burt Reynolds fan, you might want to catch it. It's one of his early adventure films. So hopefully my week will go better. I hope. I can only hope and pray. I just got a funny feeling that this may be Boots' last week with me, and that is fucking tearing me apart. So until next show, stay safe. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. And for some people out there, really, thank you for having my back. It is very much appreciated in this last few weeks because it's been really rough. So above all, stay safe and keep your head down. We live in a very dangerous and treacherous times.